LoreWarrior Armour. Drillson Heavy Hover Tank. Overview. The Drillson Heavy Hover Tank is the newest addition to the Steiner military. In keeping with the Lyran commander's predisposition toward heavier combat vehicles. Unlike most Steiner designs, however, the Drillson has not sacrificed speed for heavier armour. Indeed, the tank can hold its own against some of the fastest mechs and vehicles around. The Drillson's normally assigned as a supplement to regular mech forces. Its armour is heavy enough to withstand the severe punishment typical of a mech battlefield, and its speed allows it to keep up with any advance. Though it is vulnerable to fire as any other hovercraft, the Drillson's variety of weapons and heavy firepower make it a formidable vehicle. The first Drillson was manufactured in 3025 by Cyclops Incorporated, a newcomer to the field of military hardware, and its targeting control system had caused quite a stir in the normally placid and unimaginative military design community. With its wraparound video monitors and helmeted sight reticle, the Cyclops Evil Eye system is expected to set a new military standard. Capabilities. The Drillson's main weapon is the turret-mounted Cyclops Eye laser, unique amongst heavy lasers for having a small emission blister instead of the typical long barrel. This gun uses both laser technology and particle beam technology. Instead of firing a beam of coherent light or a stream of electrons, the Cyclops Evil Eye fires a combination of both. The excited photons release electrons, which in turn release more excited photons, creating a beam of tremendous power. Though not any more effective in combat than other lasers, the Cyclops Eye is much easier to maintain and manufacture. Another interesting feature of the Drillson is the Evil Eye tracking and targeting system. Though it doesn't use any new components, the interface between the gunner and the turret is unique. The gunner sits inside the lower turret ring in front of a wraparound video monitor that provides it with a 360-degree view. The gunner has the choice of operating the video monitors to operate in IR visual light or radar spectrums, or of switching between them. The gunner's helmet projects a sight reticle onto the screen, which lines up with the turret with whatever the target gunner's viewing. The various weapon systems then adjust themselves so that when the weapon will hit the target properly. The other weapon systems on the Drillson are fairly standard. The Hovertech short-range missile racks and the light crossbow LRM launcher have been mounted on mechs for years. The two Kicker machine guns are also a fairly standard design, using large caliber ammunition at the expense of rate of fire. Battle history. During an unsuccessful raid on Almac, several Lao battlemechs found themselves backed into a swamp by two platoons of Davian hover tanks. The swamp slowed down the mechs so much that they couldn't disengage from the enemy forces. The Lao commander may have been unlucky, but he wasn't stupid. He immediately ordered all of his units to fire on the swamp and on anything else that was flammable. Knowing that many Davian tanks utilized sight systems that only functioned in the visual light spectrum, he hoped to create a screen of smoke and steam that would totally blind the Davian vehicles, allowing his force a chance to withdraw. The plan worked, except the smoke blinded the sensors of both sides, and in turn made all fire control and tracking systems useless. Fortunately for the pursuing Davian forces, they were equipped with Drillson hover tanks, whose radar capability functioned even though the normal IR and visual systems were out. Using their radar systems, the Drillsons would be able to engage the Lao mechs at close range. As they moved into the darkened swamp, the Drillsons went hunting for Lao mechs. As the hours passed, the Lao battle mechs occasionally fired into the swamp to create more smoke. Responding immediately, the Davian Drillsons would visually estimate the enemy's location and open fire. This see-and-shoot tactic was only marginally effective for either side, but the Lao forces still couldn't break out of the swamp. Sensing that his men were becoming restless, the Davian commander ordered his units into a battle line, then moved them forward at high speed. Minutes later, one of the Drillsons ran into a Lao mech and destroyed its legs. The other Drillson tanks immediately converged, opening fire on the crippled unit, destroying it. After using the ramming tactic several more times, the Davian forces finally forced the Lao troops to surrender. Variants. The most common variant of the Drillson replaces the LRM-10 rack with more SRM-2 racks. The laser is never removed because of the usefulness of the Evil Eye. Notable vehicles and crews. Bernard Banzai Simon. Bernard Simon was the Davian commander who used the ramming technique so successfully against the Lao invaders on Almac. His actions earned him the nickname Banzai. He doesn't have any known connection to the well-known Davian physician of the same name. Another 50-tonner, and apparently good at knocking off mechs' legs, apparently by ramming them at full speed. Who knew? Also, Paul Lau, but the Capellans, wherever they go, it's just a clown car fuck up. Whatever planet they head to, they screw up and get owned by, if it isn't the Free Worlds League, then it's by the Federated Suns. If it isn't by them, it's the Magistracy of Canopus. It's really a miracle that the Capellan Confederation exists to this day as far as the writing's concerned in Battletech. If any house was going to get wiped out, it would have been them, really. So it's another 50-tonner. It uses the Max Lift hover engine power plant, moving at 97 kph and 151 flank with arc shield heavy armor. Its manufacturer is Cyclops Incorporated, with single Cyclops 1 communication system and the Evil Eye targeting tracking system. You can't really see it, unfortunately, on the artwork, but I think that's one of those things where there's obviously a write-up for one thing, but the artist is doing something else. Still, cool idea, bit different, but ultimately, as it stresses, this doesn't mean that the laser does more damage or anything. It just sounds cool. So yeah, it's a large laser, 2 SRM2, 1 LRM10, and a pair of machine guns. Pretty well armed for a 50-tonner. And decent armor, front 25, 21 on each side, 20 on the rear, and 25 on the turret. Which means it can take a pretty good whack. I mean, it can even take a single AC-20 shot virtually anywhere and still keep going, which is quite nasty. So it moves 9 and flanks 14 hex-wise, and uses a fusion engine instead of an ice engine. And let's see, is there anything else interesting here? 10 heat sinks, which actually wouldn't keep it under heat. I think this is actually one of the vehicles that you would have to try and keep track of heat on. It's a little bit different vehicles. It's weird with the rules. Most of the time, vehicles don't have to worry about overheating because they just have the heat sinks they need to run. It's strange. But then it's also assumed that internally the engine, the fusion engine, would have 10 as well, so it has 10 bonus heat sinks, so it's got 20 effectively. So it could probably dissipate. Actually, yeah, it probably could. Large as 8, 10. Yeah, I think it could actually fire even overheat. Stupid tanks with their effectiveness and cheaper build over battle mechs. Realistically, shaking fist. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. I'll catch you for the next one. My story's buggered now, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.